Got to get it, Papa.
Well, look that! That's a brand new place in Crowley, Louisiana. And not only that, but they had a place with the same name in Esterwood, Louisiana, and it's still there. And they have some of the same stuff, and it's all good. It's a little store, and you can buy your some specialty meats, some pre-seasoned roast and stuff and goodies like that. And they also have stuff you can get that and eat right in your car if you want to, or they have a couple of tables inside, and that's like stuff like boudin and boudin balls and sausage and all kind of good stuff like that. Plus they even have crispy crunchy chicken. Bet you never seen that coming. So I'm gonna run inside and find something to celebrate, and we'll see what happens. Well, since I stopped at Mikey's, I figured I might as well stop at this abandoned ghostly fast food place over here. See, there's a front door, I think. That's something. And I'll share a little bit of history about that while I enjoy my delicious food from Mikey's. But I got all excited because, believe it or not, it's a brand new year. And I'm gonna unbuckle and enjoy it. So here I am, ready to enjoy the year 2025. We've entered the future once again. And so that made me hungry and got me all excited. So anyway, I'll start talking about some of the exciting morsels and foods. Some of the exciting food I got. And the first thing is, well, when I'm eating stuff like this, I always get thirsty. And look what I found. It's nothing too extravagant. It's a Fanta orange. But look, it's in a little baby bottle. And no, I'm not a baby. I'm just drinking a baby bottle size. Okay? Normally they're bigger. It's just a small one. I'm not a baby. So, there we go. Yum, yum, yum. It's orangey. Okay. So I got that mainly because of this small size. And I'll have to get all overdone with drinking too much. So, here's some of the exciting things I got at Mikey's. And boy, they had all kind of good stuff. Let's see. Of course, Mikey's is known for their boudin and the chicken cracklings and the regular cracklings and stuff like that. But, oh, they're also known for boudin balls. Look that! And these are secret special boudin balls. And I'll tell you why. Over the years, lots of research has been done to develop different styles of boudin balls. The first, of course, they had the regular ones that were just made out of boudin. And then at some point, somebody said, well, we stuff some extra stuff in there. And at some point, somebody says, why don't we stuff some pepper jack cheese in there and make them all delicious? So they did that, and they had two different kinds of boudin balls. Well, time marches on, and eventually they have, they have all kind of stuff in them, depending on where you go. Or they have options. I'm gonna forget what I got here. No, I'm not. This looks like a regular boudin ball on the outside. Look that! But it's not. It's it's not a pepper jack boudin ball. It's a cream cheese boudin ball, which I've never had before. I never saw that in my entire life until now. So I'm gonna try one and we'll see what happens. Ready? Looks like I can shove it in your face, and it does taste different than a regular boudin ball. That's good. You can never go wrong when one of the ingredients is boudin. Unless you put cauliflower in it or something like that. So, yeah, the cream cheese is good. It's different tasting, but it's good. It's different in a good way. So, you're probably saying, well, I thought you had 2 different ones on there. You only showed me one so far. That's right. Just calm down. Sit still, and I'll tell you about the next one. It is good. It's a little spicy, too. Well, this is definitely not your grandpa's boudin ball. This is a mac and cheese boudin ball. How is it possible, you ask? I don't know, but here it is. So let's see what's inside. A mac and cheese, probably. And look in there. Macky, cheesy. It's a much tamer flavor. It's not spicy. It's not spicy like the other one, the cream cheese one. This is mac and cheese in a handy, handleable snack. That's pretty good. That's a good side dish there. I'll have to dismember that next time I get something else and get one of these to eat on the side. Delicious. I'm gonna take another bite of this one, the cream cheese one. Yeah, it's still a little spicier. So that's pretty fancy. I'm gonna save those for later because there's more to talk about here than meets the eye. Because like I said, we're in front of this old abandoned looking fast food place. It should be on the historical register of hysterical places. But it's not for some reason. But any idea why this place? Well, I'll show you some of the outside of it. Now, you can't go inside because I think it's locked up. Probably wouldn't be a good idea anyway. But it has a long lineage of historical fast foodery that happened in there. Yeah, let me drink some more of this, and I'll tell you the secret tales of this building. Okay, and I'll show you the outside of it while I'm talking, so don't get too scared. But many years ago, many years ago, back in, I think it was the 1970s. 1970s. It's ancient times. It's the 1900s. People used to walk around with clubs and ride dinosaurs and stuff. Anyway, back in the 1970s, for this town, Crowley, Louisiana, and this is not too far away from the interstate, so it's easy to pop off the interstate and come check it out. And you can look inside and everything and see what's in there, because it's all old. But I don't think they left too much in there last time it was occupied. Anyway, way back then, the Interstate 10 was new. It was finished in the 60s, and this town is like a lot of towns along these paths, didn't have much in the way of fast food. Well, you're telling me a tall tale, aren't you? No, not really. Not many towns, small towns, didn't have fast food places like that. They had restaurants and they had cafes and stuff. I don't even know way back in the day if gas stations had much food in it. Like practically every gas station you go to now has a little grill or something, especially around these parts, and they're all good. A lot of that food's better than what you can get at regular restaurants, fancy chain restaurants at least. So anyway, they were saying, well, I heard this newfangled thing they call fast food restaurant. We got to get us one. And so one day somebody said, we're going to get one. And all the rumors started flying. And I don't remember what exactly the rumor was for this one. But what eventually, this actual building here, built in the early 1970s, I believe, actually opened up as a Burger Chef. Not a Burger King, Burger Chef. And they had them, all around this area. I think it was a regional thing. I don't know if they went countrywide. You'd have to look at that. You can Google that on the internet, and you Google that, and it'll tell you all about Burger Chef. And the sign's not there anymore. I'll show you what's left of the sign, because they pretty much knocked it down and put a new one up. But the original restaurant, it had a big, not an arch, it had this big thing that kind of did like that. It was like a thing, and it's gone. So anyway, and I think the sign, one of the signs hung in the middle of it or something like that. But it was Burger Chef. And they had a little cartoon chef guy, and he was all happy, and he, big belly and all that, I think. And if I remember right. And on the sign by the road, they had like the drawing of it, the outline of him, and he was standing there and he was holding a little pot, and it was a real pot. That was really weird. And he would stand there all day with his pot, and that was the sign. And they had hamburgers and all the regular stuff. And Burger Chef had a little helper that would do all the grunt work, and his name was Jeff. So it was Burger Chef and Jeff. And of course, Jeff was all skinny because he worked him all the time. And Burger Chef was all stuffed and happy. And he was the one that raked in the dough. So that's the original version of what this place back here was back in ancient times in the 1900s. Well, don't you know, something happened, and the Burger Chefs all either closed or they changed to something else. And this was probably in the 1980s, I think. They were here probably 15 years, something like that. Well, they all changed to Mr. Cook, if I remember right. I think it was called Mr. Cook. And they kept the same building, they just painted it different and confused people. And I think that's when they knocked the sign down and put a new sign up out by the road. And it was called Mr. Cook. And I think Mr. Cook is when they had the Works Bar. They introduced, it was like a little bar, a little thing you could walk around, and it had your lettuce and your tomatoes and onions and pickles or whatever, and you could either go around and make yourself a little salad, or you could order your hamburger with nothing on it, and then go over there and slap all your extra stuff on there, your tomatoes and all that junk. And they called it the Works Bar, except of course, kids being kids, we called it the Jerks Bar. So there you go. Burger Chef or Mr. Cook, I don't remember. One of them, they used to get cool stuff. They had like the souvenir glasses every once in a while. They'd have a promotion. And I think these were the restaurants that had King Kong, the King Kong movie in the 1970s and all that. They had glass. It was real glass, and it had like the picture on it and all that. I think they might have had Star Wars, because that was around that time, 1977. You know, a couple of other ones, and they had like special little boxes for the you know, for the kids and all that, for the kiddies. And so yeah, they did all kind of stuff like that. Well, all good things must come to an end. So eventually they went out of business and closed. Mr. Cook was gone, Burger Chef was gone, and the building was still there. And this particular one, it sat empty for a while, and then someone local took it over, and it was called PJ's, and they made hamburgers and stuff. They made really good. It was all local. It was not a chain. And PJ's is still around. They just moved down the street a little bit in a brand new building that's bigger and fancier and all that, because this one needed a lot of work. I'll show y'all when we go. I'll stick the camera on the window and stuff and see what happens. But anyway, that's some of the history of this place, and because I had nothing else to talk about. So I'll show you around outside a little bit, and we'll see what happens. So here it is, almost downtown Crowley. It's the northern part of downtown, kind of, and you can see that's the old sign. I used to have Mr. Cook up there, I think, and then it had PJ's up there, and they did move, and they're moved like right over there, like I said, right down the street. And then where the Coca-Cola trucks passing, that's a McDonald's. That was the arch enemy of this place. But here it is. Yes, this used to be Burger Chef originally, and I think they added the drive-through later at some point. But before it became you know, a drive-through thing, they might have had a window there, but I don't think it had the little cover on it back in ancient times. And the big arch thing that was the sign that used to go over here, I think part of it is still inside those two brick parts right there. It's all covered up so you can't see it. It's all secret, and because they thought nobody would notice. But let's go. Ooh, look, there's a creepy shadow guy in the in the mirror, in the window. But yeah, look in there, because that's where you go in and order. And it's got the original floor in there, that cool tile, ultra 70s style, and the kitchen is back there, if you can see that. It's kind of hard to see. There's a lot of glare going on. And they didn't have waiter back then, olden days, a quick quarter. But this is the exciting dining room, and it's seen better days. Let's see if I can do that. But that wall right there with the doorway and the window, that used to not be there. It was one big room, and right where that pile of debris is on the floor pretty much is where the jerks bar, the works bar used to be. So that's pretty fancy. And now you know. And that's a trash can right there. That's the back of the trash can. It's still in there. They might have vintage 70s trash in it, for all I know, because I don't know much. But the building would need a lot of work, and parts of the ceiling are kind of coming down and stuff. It wasn't quite like that when it was Burger Chef. But anyway, and way in the back, behind the giant finger back there, is where the bathrooms were, or I guess they still are. You know, not that anybody's gonna go in there. But yeah, so that's the exciting story of Burger Chef and Jeff and company, in case you didn't know. And at some point out here in the front, they had a couple of picnic tables that people could sit at and eat. And you can see somebody chopped them right off the mounts there. So you can't eat that anymore. You can't do that, you. And yeah, there's the drive-through. And there's an outdoor freezer, and the door's all busted off of it. But I don't know what else is going to happen with that. But anyway, That's some exciting fast food history for you. And so if you ever see a building that looks kind of like this in the front, you'll know what it used to be, because they were in a couple of places. Some of them got remodeled and some of them didn't change too much. This one didn't really change too much. It just they got rid of the big arch thing over the front, and that was about the biggest change they did. So there you go. Well, so I hope you enjoyed a little bit of local history over here, and I enjoyed having some food from Mikey, since Burger Chef doesn't have anything available anymore. So this is just the tip of the iceberg for 2025, and a whole new exciting year of things on Looked At. And while I'm still struggling to work out a schedule, we'll have videos as often as possible, and eventually some exciting stuff will happen or something like that. But we were afraid that people thought I might have died or something, so I figured, oh, I better put a video on Looked At. So here it is, and I guess we'll be seeing you pretty soon on the next Looked At.